Hello and welcome to Buildings of Tomorrow. My name is John Lester, and in this episode we'll be talking about the explosion of data in the building industry. I'm joined today by Tyson Suter, the Global Business Development Manager for Digitalization at Siemens Smart Infrastructure. Tyson, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Things are changing in our industry and we're starting to see a lot more data. What's driving this explosion of data?
So I think traditionally we had very old systems in buildings, and a lot of buildings out there still have old style protocols connecting devices in building. It was also common not to connect the devices, have them very much standalone. At the moment, we're seeing a huge shift in the market. So the cost to develop devices, the power available, not just in cloud computing, but either at edge computing or even small sensor data or sensor devices. This is significantly reducing. So for the first time in our industry, we're seeing small players being able to step into large capital markets.
So we have a big change, or a lot of different changes there. We have new entrants into the market. We have technology which is getting smaller and simpler to have the extra capabilities, and then we see the connection side of things going as well.
Definitely, and what the biggest limitation a lot of the time was to be able to connect a device to a network required a proprietary network or a lot of capital investment to be able to communicate.
Cables and switches and all these different things.
Exactly right. So now we're seeing people go in and install wireless sensors and go straight to cloud. And this is still data that's incredibly valuable to everyone within the building, but they can do it as a tenant or as a customer or even as an employee. They can bring their own devices and connect them up. So now we see, how can we capture all this data? How can we understand it is one of the biggest problems we're going to face within our industry.
So in industries that have had a history of connecting devices together, even with more traditional approaches and networks, are we also seeing other industries within the building starting to adopt and embrace connectivity with their devices?
Yeah. So, normally you have every system standing alone. It's very much, they run their own networks, they talk to their own devices. This is my device, this is my hardware inside the building.
My network, your network.
Exactly. Let's keep it separate.
Yeah.
But we're seeing a shift, and it's not just in new builds. It definitely is in new builds, but even in existing buildings, there is investment into internal infrastructure for networks. There is investment into small operational works to replace hardware in existing buildings or install third-party sensors. So at every step of the chain, we're seeing different levels of investment for network infrastructure, where maybe the building owner owns the fiber backbone to communicate to all devices. Maybe there's an IT specialist who's part of the services conversation now inside a building. That never happened before. And this is all driven by, one, ownership of data, but also cyber risk. So these are the conversations that we have to answer within our industry.
So we have a lot more data. We have components or devices which are capable of producing more information. They connect easier than they ever have before, and we're better at collecting this data and starting to use it. It's a great thing because it gives us more opportunities to use data analytics, but it also brings some risks that we have to be aware of.
Definitely. I think that every time you open up a spot of entry into your building, it adds significant risk. Every time you add extra load or network traffic in your building, that is also significant risk. If there's critical equipment within your building, you're putting it at risk by just adding stuff without going through the traditional methods. But there's options there. Doesn't mean it can't be done. Just means that you need to be aware of those risks.
You have to talk about it, you have to take it into consideration and come up with a plan.
Definitely. And now we're seeing every player in the market saying, how can we offer a solution that lowers the cost of entry? So that is how our market is now shifting. So it's not just saying we're going to sell hardware, we're going to sell hardware that is open, is available to anyone to be able to collect the data. And the ownership of data is becoming a conversation point for every customer. Who owns it? How do I get access to it, and how can I utilize it?
Yeah, exactly, because where data is created and what that data represents defines where the ownership lies.
Exactly.
So we have to have that conversation.
And it's not just energy data, it's waste, it's fire, security, HVAC, but indoor environment quality. How can I measure how happy my tenants are or my employees? How can I look at a temperature complaint and tie it to an employee who doesn't like sitting in a certain zone? Or how can I look at my fire security system remotely and understand, what's my risk? What's what should I be concerned about in my portfolio of buildings? But then also bringing all that together. So the traditional live systems with the operational systems, like your facility management systems. Bringing all these things together brings visibility within a building. And it really leads us getting steps closer to that digitalizing the asset within the building.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us here on Buildings of Tomorrow. Please feel free to like, comment, or share on this episode, and also ensure to subscribe to us here on this channel. We'll see you again soon.